So, guys, the Guardians back in action today. We just got word Gabriel Arias, who went on the injured list a couple days ago, is going to be out 6 to 8 weeks, or 4 to 8 weeks. This is from Tim Stebbins of MLB.com. After further evaluation, 4 to 8 weeks, not good. Obviously, Juan Brito has his chance now, but this ultimately could open the door for Travis Pizzana if he's going to miss at least a month. And that's a wide disparity, 4 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, it's a part of the game, right?
Yeah.
You don't want it to be this early because it could snowball. And,
right.
And you're right, 8 weeks is a significant chunk, even in a marathon baseball season.
That's like a torn hamstring.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be really bad, and that's the type of injury that once you get it, as you know, even when you feel you're ready, you got to wait a couple more weeks.
Yeah, and you certainly don't want to be playing when it's this cold out too. Those muscles are so difficult to come back from. So
we won't see him probably till June.
Yeah, and it stinks, but I'd rather have him be healthy for the remainder of the season as opposed to be dealing with a chronic hamstring all year.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I mean, you feel bad for the kid, and he did hit a couple homers, but you're right, that leads to this.
Yeah.
Does it push the Pizzana arrival up quicker?
Yeah.
Depending on what happens and depending on who else hits.
And depending on what Brito does, because he's getting the first crack at second base. They've moved Rocchio to shortstop, which they were going to, I think, do eventually anyway. But we'll see what Brito does. And it's not just about Brito. It's also about Pizzana's got to force his way onto the team. They're not going to, rush him up here. The Guardians don't do that. Chase DeLauder forced his way onto the team. That's the only way they're going to bring him up, at least right now. I mean, there may come a point this year where we're like, we got to bring him up, even if he's just been okay. So far, he's been, not terrible, but certainly not forcing his way to the big leagues here.
Speaking of guys who have not gotten off to good starts, though, Bo, what we wanted to focus on today is, understandingly, it's early. Just
before
games.
you do that, Mike, just give the lineup for today.
Let me pull it up real quick.
Because the lineup is out. Chase DeLauder back in the lineup. One of those struggling, or both of those struggling players that we're going to talk about are out of the lineup today, including Kyle Manzardo for a second straight day.
Here's the lineup. Quan in center, Martinez in left, Jose batting third, playing third, David Fry DHing, batting cleanup, Chase batting fifth in right field, Rhys Hoskins, first base batting sixth, Juan Brito, seventh playing second base, Hedges is catching, he's batting eighth, and then Rocchio, the walk-off winning player yesterday, hitting ninth.
By the way, Mike said Chase because he didn't want to screw up his last name.
DeLauder.
How does he say it?
I'm so far in my head now that I genuinely don't know which one's right, and whatever I think is right, then I second guess myself and go backwards. But
I know.
Manzardo and Naylor
about it every time.
Manzardo and Naylor both aren't in the lineup. Yeah. It has not been the start we expected for either player.
It was me not picking on Mikey for his pronunciations.
When is it the appropriate time to start getting worried about those two who the Guardians need to hit well if they're going to end up having the season we hope they do?
Has Naylor ever hit?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, for a couple of weeks here and there. It's a totally different story. Kyle Manzardo was one of the best prospects. They traded Aaron Savali to get him. He was the Rays' best prospect. They got him. He was the Guardians' best prospect. He got called up the first time. He struggled, went back down, came back up, played well. Had a great season last year in his first full year in the big leagues. He's off to a terrible start. I mean, the numbers are just horrendous. That's putrid with those numbers right there. But it's been a week and a half.
Right.
I can't, Bo Naylor doesn't have a track record that I'm going to say he'll be fine.
Right.
Manzardo's track record, to be fair, is only 1 year. But combine that with the pedigree, I think he's going to be fine. It's particularly bad. They've got to have him. If he has a terrible year, goes backwards, and ends up back in the minors, which I think is unlikely.
Sure.
But if that happens, it's a total disaster.
Yeah, I think we're well ways away from
a
panic stage on anybody, but especially on this guy, right? You laid out the reasons why. So look, they're 12 games in.
Yeah.
It's still cold. It's still in the tinkering stage anyway, even if you didn't have this early slump, even if you didn't have this early injury, you're just feeling your way through. So multiple weeks away from any kind of panic button, at least from where I sit.
You panicked, Dustin, about
No, I mean, Manzardo probably more so than Naylor. Naylor, to me, has done nothing every time he comes to the plate. I think he's going to do nothing. Manzardo, every time I look at the guy, I'm like, this guy should be throwing Munson with that mustache. Let's go. Get it going.
That's old school reference
it
right
is.
there. Yeah. I remember, I have almost no memories, as you know, from when I'm a kid. But I have this memory.
When he passed?
When he died in a plane crash. And I remember being at the doctor's office. I was sick. and hearing it come over the radio that Thurman Munson had died. I don't know how I remember that. I remember nothing from my childhood.
When you bring your Rocky River baseball team to play at Thurman Munson Stadium
Can't-
again, will you
can't
get
find us.
emotional?
I don't think I will.
Yeah.
No, but
they've done a
I
wonderful
wasn't
job there, by the way.
They've done a wonderful
Yeah,
job.
it was an old minor league park
yeah,
that got
yeah.
abandoned, and they've revitalized it the last 3 or 4 years.
I know.
It's phenomenal. There's a tribute to him.
Yeah.
And just the whole
He was a
facility.
great player.
Yeah.
My
I
bro-
liked him, even though I didn't like the Yankees, but I liked Thurman Munson. I don't.
My brother went to school with his son.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're the same age.
Oh, that's cool.
At Glen Oak, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Bull, on
Yeah.
Manzardo, we're all in agreement. Not time to worry.
Yeah, don't
When
panic.
is it
I
time?
get it.
Is it a
He
month?
looks. You cannot look worse than he's looked. So it's and because he only has 1 year of a track record, I understand why folks get panicky, especially because we've seen other Guardians prospects, not as good a prospect as Manzardo, but we've seen guys like Franmil Reyes have a level of success and then fall on his face. Oscar Gonzalez,
Sure.
There's Oscar Mercado. I mean, there's been a lot of guys who have had one. This guy's a different player. He's a better player. Now, doesn't mean I'm going to be right. Maybe there's a chance he just had 1 year and that's it. But I just don't see it. And even if that is the case, it is way, way, way too early to go there. This is not the NFL.
No, when you're hitting 0.63,
Yeah.
like through 8 or 9 games, that's
Yeah.
right. There's only one way to go it down, and that's to 0. So yes. So embrace a little bar. This will be second straight day off for him.
Yeah.
Matchup related, and probably getting your mind right.
Yeah, I think,
Let's see how
I
he
think it
hits
was a
this
good
weekend.
time with 2 lefties. It was a good time to give him back-to-back days off. And let's face it, in defense of the entire Guardians lineup to some degree, not that I expect them to be great offensively, the Guardians have probably faced better pitching than any team in baseball.
And here they are again today.
And again, facing another really good starter. So you have some serious. What's their upcoming schedule? Don't they have the Cardinals? They have the Orioles
the
coming
Braves,
up.
the Braves, the Orioles.
Yeah, like you're going to be facing not as good pitching with a lot of these teams that you got coming up, and the weather will hopefully get better. The combination of those two things will lead to some of the bats waking up. I think Manzardo will be one of those bats waking up.
What about Naylor?
I can't panic about Naylor because to me Naylor is what he is. Like he's again, that's particularly awful. But a lot of people were high on a bounce, like on Naylor putting it all together this year.
Jay Crawford was very high on Bo Naylor.
Yeah, I was not one of those people. And again, it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. He's not going to bat 138. He'll be better. He's a competent major league catcher. I just don't ever think he's going to be a good player. I think he's a below, Now, there's a lot of teams in baseball that have mediocre or worse catching situations. There's not that many great hitting catchers.
There's not that many that can hit even 10 home runs.
Right.
Right? And he can do that?
Exactly. He can hit
so-
15, 18 home runs. He's a serviceable player, but this idea that he's going to become better than that and become one of these really top-hitting catchers, I don't see it. Jay does. I don't. I've never really seen it with Naylor. Time will tell. Now, his brother took time to develop to the player he was, but Josh Naylor was better at this point than Bo Naylor is. He just couldn't hit lefties. The lefties, to become a full part of his game, took him a while, but he was always hitting righties. Bo Naylor's not Josh Naylor. He's not as good a player.
Nope.
No.
And, he's okay.
And I was wrong about Josh Naylor. Josh Naylor's a much better player than I thought he was.
Yeah, I mean, he's a borderline all-star caliber player. He's like right on that line. He's what you're talking about. He's just a really good Major League Baseball
And
player.
I found
Not
out
a star.
we share the same obsession. He's a sneakerhead too.
I bet there's a lot of sneakerheads. I mean, it's not uncommon in professional sports.
Fair enough, but
he's
he
obsessed about
has
it.
like all these custom cleats that he wears.
Yeah.
They're all Jordans.
But you said you were done with Canada. Now you're back in on Canada.
He's Canadian.
He's Canadian.
A?
He's Canadian A, B, and C.
He is.